Hello everyone, I hope all of you are in good health. This is the first video lesson for class 6 history. The topic is the first chapter in your syllabus, how, when, where, what. This chapter deals with the basics of history, the basics of studying history. There are several things we can find out by studying history. For example, what people ate, the kind of clothes they wore, the houses in which they lived. We can find out about the lives of hunters, farmers, rulers, merchants, priests, scientists, teachers, etc. etc. For example, if we study the history of India, we should begin with when and how the name India came to exist. Now, as you all know, India and Bharat are two names of our countries which are used interchangeably. The word India comes from Indus, the river Indus, called Sindhu in Sanskrit. The Iranians and the Greeks who came to India through the northwest from about 2500 years ago were familiar with the Indus. They knew about the river Indus. They called the river Hindos, and the land to the east of the river was called India. The name Bharat was used for a group of people living in the northwest. We find it in the Rig Vedas. The word Bharat is also mentioned in the Rig Vedas. Later, the word Bharat is used also to denote the whole country. Now see, there are several ways in which we can find out about our past. One way is to read books which were written a long time ago, ancient books. Those were handwritten books that were called manuscripts. Those books were called manuscripts because they were written with hand. These were written on palm leaves or on the specially prepared bark of trees. Bark of trees or leaves were used to write these manuscripts. Other than manuscripts, we also have inscriptions. What are inscriptions? Inscriptions are writings on relatively hard surfaces such as stone or metal. Sometimes kings got their orders inscribed so that the people can see it, read and obey. There were also other things that were made and used in the past. Those who study these objects are called archaeologists. They study the remains of buildings made of stone and brick, paintings and sculptures. They also explore and excavate. Excavate means to dig under the ground, to find tools, weapons, pots, ornaments, all of them that were used in the past by people from history. Some of these objects may be made of stone, others of bone, baked clay or metal. Historians, that is the scholars who study the past, often use the word source to refer their information found from the manuscripts, inscriptions and archaeology. Once the sources are found, learning about the past becomes an adventure as we reconstruct it bit by bit. So, reconstructing history becomes like the work of a detective. Once we find the source are our clues. Once we find those clues, reconstructing the past becomes easier. One thing we should remember while studying history is that different people have different histories. Different group of people have different pasts. All the people in this world do not share a common past or a common history. Different groups of people are different, thereby denoting that they have different pasts, they have different histories. For example, the farmers, they have a different past than the rulers, right? Also, there is one other difference. We know a great deal about kings and the battles they fought because they kept record of their victories by the help of what? Inscriptions. But generally, ordinary people did not keep records of their doings. Ordinary people like fishermen, farmers, weavers, etc. etc. Archaeology helps us to find out about their lives. So there is much that remains to be discovered. Now, dates are very important in studying history. If somebody asks you the date, you will probably mention the day, month and the year. Now, notice the year. What year is this? This is 2020. These years are counted generally from the birth of Christ. So 2020 means 2020 years after the birth of Christ. All the dates before the birth of Jesus Christ are counted back and usually have the letters BC, that is before Christ. So that's it. The first chapter is done. We'll meet again in the second tutorial video. Till then, bye.